Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're live streaming today from Mystic Fitness. My name is Mirari, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. We have Deba with us today, modeling. I'm gonna be walking you through about 60-minute Baptiste-inspired power yoga sequence. Every day at 9 a.m. we're streaming from Mystic Fitness. And good morning, Caitlin. Good morning. And grab a block, a book, maybe a strap, a sock. Gather your things, gather your water, and settle into your mat. I want to take a moment to remind you that our own Mary Beth is making these wonderful masks. Mystic Fitness is receiving donations through Venmo or directly through Mystic Fitness. And you can get a few of these. They're washable, very comfortable, and beautiful. Thank you, Mary Beth. All right. Are we ready now? Let's get settled. Let's start in child's pose. So knees wide, toes touching or close together, and stretch your arms in front of you. Take a few deep breaths. Become aware of how your body is feeling this morning. Good morning, body. Stretch your arms to the front of your mat. And now take your hands to the right top corner of your mat. As you stretch your arms and your hands to the right, take your sit bones to the back of the room. So you're stretching your body. Bring your arms back to the center. Now take your arms to the left. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your arms back to the center of your mat. You can always come back to child's pose. Between poses and the sequence today, you can always come back to child's pose. If you're feeling tired or you just want to take a break, just come back to child's pose and stay with us for this next hour. Slowly come back to tabletop. Flat back, and take a few cat-cows. So arch your back and look up as you breathe in. Curl your back as you breathe out. Take a few of these at your own pace. Let's take our first down dog of the morning. So come to downward facing dog. It may not be your first. It is definitely mine. And walk your dog. Explore downward facing dog on your mat. How does it feel to take more space in your mat than usual? Walk your hands to the front of your mat. Maybe a shorter stance works better for you. Be intentional in creating the physical foundation of the pose, so your palms are pressing on the mat. Spread your toes across the mat. Take your hips up, engage your belly. We're going to be doing lots of these today, so find comfort in downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Walk to the front of your mat. Halfway up, your flat back. So let's tune this a little bit. You can bend your knees for a flat back. You can bring your fingers to the top of your mat or your shins. Bow forward. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Bring your hands to heart center. We start our practice with one big Om. Take a huge breath in for Om. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling, look up, bow forward, flat back, high plank. You can do a high plank with your knees up or down, low plank, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out, walk to the front of your mat, halfway up, bow forward, stretch your arms up to the ceiling, look up, breathe in, bow forward, flat back, high to low plank, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Walk to the front of your mat, bow forward, chair pose. Lift your arms up to the ceiling as you bring your hips down. Lift your toes off the mat. Spread them out, bring them back to the mat. Bow forward, flat back, high to low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward for warrior one. Square your hips. Front foot is on 12 o'clock. Bring your arms up to the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bring your left foot forward for warrior one. Take your time to square your feet and explore your stand. Ground down to the mat with your feet as your arms reach up. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Downward facing dog. Walk to the front of your mat. Halfway up. Bow forward. Chair pose. Bow forward, halfway up, high to low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right foot forward for warrior one. Reach up, high to low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left foot forward for warrior one. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. All right. We are awakening our bodies. Bring your feet together in the back of the mat. Lift your right leg up to the ceiling. Bend your upper knee. Stack your hips. Stay here or carefully flip your dog. Take a deep breath in. Come back to a high plank. Side plank on the right. You can do side plank with your right leg lifted or your knee on the mat. Take your left hand up to the ceiling. Look up. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bring your toes together to touch on the back of the mat. Lift your left leg up to the ceiling. Bend your upper knee. Stack your hips. Stay here or carefully flip your dog. One more breath in. Come back to high plank. Side plank on the left. Knee up or down. Take your right arm to touch the ceiling. Stack your hips. If you want to lift your upper leg as Deba Mitra is doing, that's great. Flex your feet. High plank to low plank. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring your right foot forward for crescent lunge. So in crescent lunge, feet are parallel to one another. Front leg is bent at a 90-degree angle. Back heel is lifted. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Bring your hands to heart center. Twist your crescent lunge. You can bring your knee to the mat if that feels more accessible to you. Twisting crescent lunge. Hook your shoulder to your knee. Open it up to warrior two. That front leg is bent on a 90-degree angle. You swivel your back foot. You're grounding on your mat. Extended side angle. Bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling. One more big breath in. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bring your left foot forward for crescent lunge. Your back knee can be lifted or bring your knee down to the mat. I like to curl my toes in the back. Bring your hands to heart center. Twisting crescent lunge. So we twist now to the left. If you did the left before, now do the right. You can stretch your arms if you would like. Bring your hands back to heart center. Let's open it up to warrior two. Front foot on 12 o'clock. Extend your arms in opposite direction. Extended side angle. Left forearm to your left side thigh. Extend your right arm to the ceiling and over your head. One more big breath in. High to low plank. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Walk to the front of your mat. Chair pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Let's twist our chair to the right. So take a look at your knees and try to keep those knees aligned. Take a look at your toes. Stretch your arms if you would like. If side crow is in your practice, you can go ahead and do that if that's in your practice. Bring your hands to heart center. Bow forward. Bring your feet hip-width distance apart. Take your peace fingers and wrap them around your toes. Flat back. Bow forward. Bring your elbows to the side. You can see Deba is grabbing her toes, and also her head hangs heavy. Your knees do not have to stretch all the way, so your legs don't have to be all the way straight, but you're taking your sit bones up to the sky. One more breath in. Bring your hands back to the mat. Bow forward. Bring your toes to touch or close together. Come back to chair. Bring your hands to heart center. Let's twist it to the left. Twisting chair. And if you did the left first, now you do the right. You can open your arms. Keep those legs aligned. Bring your hips lower than your heart. Twist. Bow forward. Bring your feet hip-width distance apart. Gorilla. Slide your palms underneath your feet. Flat back. Bow forward. So here, play with your balance. Put more weight on the balls of your feet. And push back with your palms. See how that shifts the balance. Now bring more weight into the heels. So there are opposing forces in many parts of yoga. Stretch your legs a little tiny more. Take a look at your belly. One more big breath in. Slide your palms off your feet. Bring your hands to the mat. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Look up. Bow forward. Flat back. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's walk to the front of our mats. Halfway up. Bow forward. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Eagle. Bend your knees. Balance on your left leg. And bring your right leg to wrap around your left leg. Bring your right arm underneath your left arm. You can take the bind with your hands or hug yourself. Sit down with the back straight. Sit low. Stretch up. Eagle on the left. Bend your knees. Balance on your right leg. Bring your left leg up and over your right leg. If your toes can't hook around your calf, that's great. If not, that's great too. Left arm underneath your right. Sit down in your chair, in your eagle chair. Sweep up. Let's do that again. Eagle on the right. Sweep up. Left side eagle. Stretch up. Bring your feet to the mat. Bring your hands to the sides. Standing leg raise. So balance on your left leg. Really ground that left foot on the mat. bend your right knee and bring it over to hip height. Your left hand can come to your hips for balance. You can keep your right knee bent like this, and with your right arm you hold your knee, or with your peace fingers grab your big toe and stretch that leg. It doesn't need to come all the way straight. Just stretch up, lift your leg. If your right shoulder, like mine right now, is coming too far away, just bring it back. Open up that right leg to the right side. Take your gaze to the left. So Deba's doing Dancing Shiva right now. Bring your upper leg back to center. Keep that leg lifted. Bring your arms up to the ceiling. Airplane. So let's take that leg back. If we fall down, we come back up. A little bit of upward facing dog on the upper body. Engage your arms. Flex your lifted foot. Take your hands to your hips and square the hips. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring your left hand to the floor for half moon. To the floor or a block. If you need to grab a block, you can come down. Just grab a block. I may grab two. Bring your left hand to the block or the floor. Bring your right leg up and stack your hips. Half moon pose. I like to start with my right hand on my hips. And then, when you feel steady, open up your arm. One more big breath in. And bow forward. Take a little ragdoll. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Standing leg raise on the left. Balance on your right foot. Yeah, you can arrange your blocks because you know what's coming next. Balance on your right leg. Bring your left leg to hip height. Keep your knee bent, or grab your toe. Open it up to the left. Bring your gaze to the right. Come back to center. Keep your leg lifted. Take your arms to the sky. Airplane. Maybe a little wobbly. That's totally fine. One of my teachers says that when the wobble starts, that's just where the pose begins. So if you wobble or fall off, just come back up. Bring your hands to heart center. Half moon. Bring your blocks. Your grounded foot is on 12 o'clock, so if you need to rearrange, come back to the mat. Stack your hips. Stretch your fingers and your toes. Bow forward. Let your head hang heavy. If you want to take a ragdoll, it's great. Stretch up. Let's reset everything on tree pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Balance on your left foot. Bring your right foot above or below your knee. Just like Deba is doing, you can use your hand to raise your foot, but it's very important that the foot goes above or below the knee. And here the action is that with your right foot you press against your leg, and with your leg you press against the foot. Now take your arms wherever you would like. Explore. Arms up. You can stretch your arms to the side. Shift your gaze and explore how that shifts the balance. Same thing, if you fall off, just come back up. Bring your hands back to heart center. Take your upper foot to the mat. Tree pose on the left. Balance on your right knee. Bring your left foot above or below the knee. Grow your tree. You can do reverse namaste if that's available to you in the back. You can do a little back bend and try to take your gaze to the back of the room very carefully. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring your upper foot to the mat. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Bow forward. Halfway up. High to low plank or cobra. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward for warrior 1. Open it up to warrior 2. Straighten your front leg for triangle. So if you straighten your front leg, your arms are on the sides. Slowly take your front arm to the front of the room and then to the outside of your right leg. If you're doing it with your left leg, it's totally fine. Become aware of the foundation of your pose. Really ground down the feet. Slowly bring your upper body up. Face the left side of the room. Wide-legged forward fold. So keep your arms to the side, or you can bring them to your hips, and slowly with a straight back, bring your head towards the mat. You can keep your hands on your waist or bring your hands to the mat. And do here whatever feels good to you. You can bring your hands through your legs and stretch. You can bring your hands to the outside of your heels. Bring your hands back to the center of your mat, to your hips, and slowly with a straight back, come up. Face the front. Bring your feet together. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Bow forward. Halfway up. High to low plank or cobra. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward to warrior 1. Open it up to warrior 2. Triangle. Straighten your front leg. Left hand reaches the front of the room and then to the outside of your leg. If your hand reaches the floor, that's great. You can also bring blocks or a book to lift the floor. Your right hand is active and reaching towards the sky. One more breath in to reach up. Slowly bring your upper body up. Swivel your feet, face the right side of the room. Wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands to the mat and take whatever variation works for you. Just stretch. Keep a little bend in your knees. You can keep your feet parallel to the short parts of your mat or slightly pigeon-toed. Take one more breath in. Take your hands to your hips and slowly with a straight back, come up. Face the front of the room. Bring your feet together to the front of your mat. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Look up. Bow forward. Halfway up. High plank. Let's hold this high plank for a moment. Knees up or down. I'm going to bring my knees down. Deba keeping her legs up. And slowly come down to the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your body rest. One side of your cheek is on the mat. Arms to the side. Let gravity do the work for you. Really let go. Take your other chin to the other side. Bring your forehead to the mat. You can clasp your hands behind you. If that's available, you can use a strap or a small towel, or you can simply have your arms to your side. Now engage your arms, engage your legs, pull everything to the center line. Push down to the mat to lift up for locust. Bring your head, your shoulders, your shins up. Come back down to the mat. Let go of the bind in your hands. Floor bow. So take your arms and with your hands take the outside of your heels or your shins. You can do one side at a time. I'll walk you through how to do it with both feet. Flex your feet. Let's work on the integration of the pose first. Flex your feet. Pull your thighs, your quadriceps, your shoulders into the center line. As you pull in, press down, come up. The main action is coming from your shins. Your shins are pushing to the back of the room. Keep the feet flexed for 3, 2, 1. Come back down to the mat. Arms on your side. Let's do another floor bow. So if you did one side, do the other side. Otherwise, if it's available to you, let's do one more floor bow. Bring everything into the center line. Press down. Come up. So it's almost that you're standing with your feet, you're standing on the ceiling or on the sky. Bring your knees back together. There's a tendency for them to open up. Come back down to the mat. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. All right. Bring your knees to the mat. And however feels good to you, come to the back, come to your back, lay on your back. Take a water break if that's available to you. Thank you, Deba, for reminding me. Take a little break. I'm excited here going. So take a little break. This is a perfect time for a water break. All right. Lay down on your back for bridge pose. So we bend our knees and be mindful, and you might want to take a quick look that your feet are on 12 o'clock. All right, and with your fingers, it's almost like you touch lightly the back of your heels. All right, close to it. There you go. Knees are parallel to one another. And slowly bring your hips up to the sky. You can really use your arms to press lightly. If it's available, you can shimmy your shoulders underneath. If not, you can just leave them on the side. Lift your hips and come back down to the mat. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Bridge. Reset your feet and come up. Bring your hips up to the sky. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. Bring your hips back into the mat. You can do one more bridge or wheel pose. So if you do one more bridge, you know where we're going. Only if wheel is available to you and in your practice, you can bring your hands out of your shoulders. You first reset your feet as if you were doing bridge. Hands outside of your shoulders. You can start with the crown of your head on the mat, and that could be your wheel, or lift your hips all the way up for wheel pose. Engage your quadriceps. Lift up for 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down to the mat, whether you're in bridge or wheel. And take Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together. Splay your knees out on the sides. Take one hand, put it in your belly, another one to your heart. Reconnect with your breath. Take a happy baby by grabbing your ankles from the outside or your toes like Deba is doing, and massage your back. You can go one side or another. Bring your lower back to the mat and massage your back. Give yourself a break. All right. Let's do a few abs now. Take your legs up to the ceiling. Your arms on the side right now. Let's start with the engagement of the legs. So point your toes like ballerina toes. Point your toes and now curl your toes towards your face. That really creates some awareness of the engagement of the legs. You can put a little bend in your knees if that makes it more available, more accessible. Now cradle your head with your hands. You can interlace your fingers or put your fingertips on the back of your head. Lift your shoulders away from the mat. That's your new floor. And now pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Keep going at your own pace. The exhalations should come with the pulse up, and the pulses are really short and small. Just keep those shoulders lifted. Engage your legs. Bring the shoulders down to the mat. Keep your legs lifted. Bring your arms to your sides. And slowly, with your legs engaged, bring your legs down 30% towards the mat. Shoulders on your mat. Another 30% towards the mat. Now bring them down about 2 inches away from the mat. Lift your shoulders and take a look at your toes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your legs back up. Bring your legs to your chest. Give yourselves a hug. From here, we take a couple of rock and roll. So we slide up with your hands underneath your legs, underneath your knees. Take 3 or 4 of these. And stop at a boat. So it is important, just like Deba Mitra is demonstrating, beautiful straight back, your hands underneath your legs, engage the feet. And now we're going to do a few of the cherry pickings. So with your hands, starting in the front, you go to the right, pick some cherries, then to the left, take a few of this to each side. Maybe you can stop in the middle if you want and drop your cherries. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your feet to the mat. And however works for you, come back through vinyasa or just simply come back into a downward facing dog. Pedal your dog. Let's take half pigeon on the right. For half pigeon, we lift our right leg up to the ceiling and bring it to the front of the mat. If half pigeon is something that doesn't really quite work for you, you can do a variation, figure 4. So Deba Mitra is doing half pigeon. In half pigeon, it's important to have your thigh parallel to your mat. Engage, flex your front foot, and the top of your back foot is pressing against the mat. So there's engagement of the legs, and your upper body can just relax to the front of the mat. And stay here for a few deep breaths. If your preference is to do figure 4, you start sitting on your mat. Bring your right leg, cross it over your left. And this can be enough. Flex your upper foot. You can increase the intensity by sitting a little bit closer to the foot that's on the mat. So this is figure 4 on the right. Another deep breath in. Remember to flex that front foot. If you're in half pigeon, the one that's in front of you. If you're in figure 4, the foot that is on top too, that is lifted. If you're on figure 4, slowly switch legs. If you're in half pigeon, slowly come back to a downward facing dog. As carefully as you came into the pose, you come out of the pose. It's all the pose, coming in and coming out. So half pigeon on the left whenever you're ready. Flex your front foot. Press the top of the back foot towards the mat. And let your upper body rest. Relax the upper body while you engage your lower body. It's that balance between effort and ease. Slowly come back to downward facing dog. Bring your body to the mat. So bring your legs to the mat and for a seated forward fold. So we bring the legs up in front of the mat. You can get your sit bones pressing into the mat. Flex your feet. Bring a little bend to your knees. Bring your arms up to the sky. Bring your chest to your thighs. And then this is good here, but if you want a little more, you can start stretching your legs towards the mat. Bring your face to your thighs. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. The legs do not need to come all the way straight. Your chest is glued to your thighs. Create some space between your shoulders and your ears. Bring your body, or upper body, up, sit straight. And let's take an inversion. So let's take waterfall. If you have a block or comfortable book, slide it down to your lower back, just like Deba is doing. Bring your legs up to the sky. You can leave your arms on the side, or you can also, if you would like, you can try it out. Bring your arms up with your legs. Bring your arms by your side. Bring your feet slowly back down to the mat. Slide the block, the book, whatever you had. If you had anything, your lower back out. Stretch your feet to the front of the room, your arms to the back of the room. Take a big, big, big stretch. Bring your knees to your chest. Supine twist. So extend your left leg. Lay it on the mat. Keep your right knee bent and take it over outside of your chest. Press. You can interlace your finger and press your thigh to the outside of your chest. Flex your right foot. And bring that bent knee over to the left for supine twist. Take your gaze to the right. You can open up your right arm. You can slightly bend also your left knee or take with both legs, supine twist. Bring your knees back to center. Take it over to the other side with one or two legs bent. Take your gaze to the opposite direction where your bent leg is going. So we're taking our gaze to the left now. Bring your knees back to center. Take a happy baby or whatever pose you really want to take before we go into our final resting pose. Shavasana. You can take your final resting pose and with your soles of your feet together or just stretch out on the mat. Find a comfortable place and resist the temptation to fidget or move around for the next few moments. Let go of the controlled breath. Close your eyes. Shavasana. Slowly begin to start wiggling your fingers and your toes. Bring some movement back into your body. Take a big stretch. And roll over to the right or the left. Curl up into a fetal position. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for being here on your mat today. We are so grateful that you're joining us today. Come up into a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed. We close our practice with one big Om. Take a big breath in for Om. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Deba Mitra. Thank you all. And together we say Namaste. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. here at Mystic Fitness. We hope you all have a wonderful day. Enjoy the beautiful day. Be safe. Take care. See you soon.